Sonic Universe issue 41. We start out with Larry, Lynx, Shard, and Silver flying over Sumerka. Wait, Larry can fly? Anyways, we see Silver thinking about how he's reluctant to spend so much time in the past and be with the secret freedom fighters, for some reason, even though he's a hero. You'd think he'd like it. Their goal, as we see it in hours earlier flashback, is to figure out what's so important that Ixis sent Jeffrey over to Sumerka. Agent Ace will lead the team tracking Jeffrey and secure a tracking device, and Agent King will lead the team to investigate Ixis. And Director Who continues that because they need anonymity, they must use their call signs at all times. I guess those call signs mean they're fake names, because I don't really know who he's talking about unless Agent King is Elias. And the owl reassures Silver that he's not wasting his time here because he'll go over his notes and try to identify the traitor he's hunting for. I don't see how he could, any better than he did, but whatever. They go to Windy Valley, which is in Sumerka in the comic, and Shard jokes around about how hard it is to put a tracking device on one airboard, acting all tense before saying, "Oh man, that was so dangerous and hard!" Silver annoyingly bitches about him trying to lighten the mood. I guess he wouldn't like Sonic then. And Shard says confidently that they can handle one guy. Shard then says that he's not picking up any traps, but that's a long way down. Silver says he'll lower them all to the bottom with him, but out complete nowhere it's revealed that Silver can't do that because his powers short out electronics, and Shard's a robot. Why would the flow of electricity inside of wires stop doing what it normally does just because the outside of him is being controlled by telekinesis? That's not affected directly at all. It's like he might as well just be blowing it with wind, and wind doesn't short him out. It's not like Silver's electromage. Silver says that his powers are silent, unlike Shard's rockets, and seems to totally ignore his point about shorting him out. Seriously, I imagine Silver to be a bit of a nicer guy than this, aside from rival series, so his rivalry with Shard seems forced. When Larry falls towards some spikes and starts to scream, Shard makes his way down there effortlessly with his jet engine and proudly saves Larry, bragging about how fast he is. Then Silver complains about how much noise they made, and Larry apologizes that he doesn't have full control over his bad luck powers. Also, I guess Silver would have been able to save him, but Shard was just faster. Even though Silver should have been able to just telekinesis him with the twitch of his wrist faster than he could fly over to him with a jet engine. Larry explains his bad luck powers, and we see a flashback of him being held by Rotor with fire behind him, while Rotor says the targeting system went haywire for some reason. So it's Larry's fault that Rotor gave up on making weapons. I'm not mad at Larry at all, though, because it was Rotor who made that very stupid decision. Also, wouldn't Larry's team already know that Larry has bad luck powers? Why is he just telling them about it now? Larry complains that he tried to run for public office, but his ballot box spontaneously caught on fire. I guess Ixis had a magic sneeze. And our time is wasted recapping when Larry first got recruited, with a text box of the owl seeming to be connected to Uncle Chuck at first. Shard sends some red lasers from his eyes and says that he's scanning, but if it's old or rudimentary enough, his scans might not pick it up for some reason. Larry runs ahead and activates some arrow shooting traps, and Jeffrey wonders who set those off, since he's the first person to set foot here in centuries, deciding to move quick. Really? No archaeologists came here even? Silver suggests using his powers to hold all the traps in place, and then Shard confidently says, "Hold that thought, superior technology coming through," and blasts a green laser from his arm cannon, destroying the traps and reasoning that they already made enough noise to alert their target anyways. I like Shard a lot here. It makes sense that with his confidence he wants to show off his usefulness as much as possible, especially to overcompensate for being a villain most of his life. They all go to some writing on a wall, which Shard is able to cross-reference and translate just like that, even though it's a dead language, because I guess he's got internet usage in his brain. In a world ruled by Eggman, where only Eggman's allies have access to the internet. He's gonna be like a hole, isn't he? Oh, and this was so subtle that I didn't even notice it the first time. Silver is really surprised and stunned that the word Mogul was mentioned. That Vale was someone who worked for Mammoth Mogul. And this never gets mentioned again. We never get to see Silver go back to the future and confront Mammoth Mogul on his past like that. With them learning that this is an Ixis crypt, Larry asks where all the remains are then, and they learn that Vale's remains are here. And Silver assumes this proves Jeffrey's already been in here for some reason. Shard says that he can see fresh tracks and takes off. Silver says that they need a shortcut and draws a map of the room with his telekinesis blue wave powers to figure out where Jeffrey is, before making Jeffrey fall to the floor in the exact spot he was in with telekinesis despite not knowing exactly where he was. Shard and Silver don't see where he fell. Silver says he's only floating there if he's concentrating on him, and somehow Jeffrey gets free of Silver's kinesis somehow, despite not having kinesis himself. He runs off and fires a dynamite arrow at Shard and takes off with a grappling hook, while Shard complains that he hates being buried alive after what happened to him last time, which is very good, it has like consequences to being buried alive. Silver says he won't let Jeffrey get away, and then screams as there's an explosion and rumble, and Jeffrey says he overdid it with the magic, as an explosion steam happens behind him. What'd he do? I didn't get to see any of it. Did he fly away with the wind? Why didn't we see that then? Silver just screamed with nothing on the panel. Silver uses telekinesis to keep the rocks from falling, and Shard says that his auto repair is kicking in, so he can't push his power core right now. It's a really good thing it has that system. He asks if digging a tunnel out would destabilize things too much for Silver, and gets the okay. Then we see Elias's team, and one of them complains that there wasn't a branching path here before. Elias says that he's reshaping the cave to trap them. They all jump into 3 different holes as Elias orders to split up, stick to one wall, and double back if they hit a dead end, which is a smart way to deal with the maze. The story ends with Elias hiding as a fiery-looking Ixis head says there's no escape for any intruders. This issue was by Ian Flynn. I liked seeing Shard being all confident and jokey, wanting to show off his usefulness at every opportunity, even if it meant showing up Silver, though Silver wasn't exactly nice to Shard for some reason. And it's not explained that he hates him for being a robot. The heroes had it rough this issue, setting off traps alerting Jeffrey to their presence, and what really annoyed me was that it's not made obvious enough what Jeffrey does with his magic. Isn't it cool that he has magic? Well, you're not going to be able to see that. I hope Larry will be useful enough to make up for his bad luck and conveniencing his friends, although to be fair, bad things happen to heroes regardless of whether or not he's there.